what are we going to see?
We're going to see some bumping in the first corner. And if I were you, I don't. What do you think, Rick? Inside?
Definitely. You got Davey Millsaps that's right in the center. I think he's got the premium spot, but what I like to tell my guys is condition before position. Here at Daytona, it's very soft, very deep ruts. You want a very straight rut. So you want it, when I pick my starting spot here, I always look for the most shallow, straight rut. But Davey position, I think, is in the most favorable spot because he's in the center of the inside gates.
That would be left of the gate, closest to our screen. And boy, I'll tell you what, the anticipation is really starting to build right now as we get set for the first main event of the night. They're still putting on their goggles. We got a little bit more time. David?
Looks like Davey is ready for this. Look at him just sitting there, bouncing up and down on the bike, getting his goggles just right. He seems to be psyching himself up, really motivated. You see Langston over there, who actually pulled the whole shot from the outside last week. So he could come in and cross and take the front wheel right away from Millsaps. It's going to be, the race could be won or lost in that first turn tonight.
You got three strong guys right there. You got Grant Langston, number 8, Steve Boniface, number 141, and Davey Millsaps, 188. You got three different power plants there, Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Honda, and also it's been a war between Pro Circuit and Yoshimura. So we'll see who's got the horsepower to get these guys forward. The sign is up, and we're getting ready to go racing.
And here we are with some facts. In 20 years, we've had 18 different winners. We're going to get a different one here tonight. They're getting set to go. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be underway. There it is, the start. Right dead center, out of the front, Millsaps. Matt Walker gets passed by a half a dozen guys, and they go into turn number 1. What a scramble. We didn't see anybody going down, at least in this shot. And it looks like everybody has got a good, clean, safe start.
Looks to me like Brian McGordy got another great start, running third right now.
Donnie McGordy on number 248 out of Florida. You know, he's really going crazy.
Langston's off the track as Millsaps rebounds and
Oh, Langston down, other Kawasaki down again.
This is setting it up, Brian, for a great race. The two fastest riders, both heat winners, coming from behind.
And now Matt Walker going down and getting T-boned really hard by Greg Schnell. So there goes our, our theory as far as Matt Walker is concerned. But it's really good that he's up and rolling because that was a hard hit.
And I talked about Donnie McGordy getting another great start. Wasn't that long ago he was doing the amateur ranks. So that's the same thing for our leader as we look at Matt Walker trying to get going. Josh Grant, who signed with Factory Connection, the first outdoor national of his career. He pulled the whole shot, led the race.
You got Josh Grant, McGordy, and Adams out front, and coming through the pack is Davey Millsaps. You see him wasting no time banging on Mills, but no!
Down he goes, another big pileup. Lots of guys involved in this one, and it is unbelievable how much action we've got going on here already.
That was the replay, Brian, of what happened on the first lap with Millsaps. He was trying to be safe and tuck it up the inside, and he got hit from behind and knocked down. He's got the speed to win the race. The riders out front are 2 to 3 seconds slower a lap, so we're going to see something really exciting down the final laps.
Well, clearly, I don't need any more than that to make it exciting. I'm looking at the second time something happened, thought it was happening again. But out in front, it's Grant, McGordy, Adams, the top 3, and some of our pre-race favorites are really got their work cut out for them, with the exception of Hansen.
This is a huge opportunity, Rick, don't you think, for Josh Hansen?
Definitely. Josh Hansen's been one of those riders that I think mentally he's been getting beat up a little bit. He's been getting passed by Langston, been getting passed by Millsaps and stuff. So this is an opportunity. If he can get up front and get away from these guys, and here we see Matt Walker down again. Matt Walker having a hard time now, 1 lap down. But this kid, Josh Grant, came onto the scene last year at the Nationals, really put in some great performances, been injured a little bit, but now he's leading the Daytona Supercross.
And meanwhile, Grant Langston has moved up to 5th position, so one of our favorites is on the recovery path. There he is right there.
That was a fast recovery, Brian. I didn't think he was going to get back going quite that quick. Went completely off the racetrack, and usually when you make a big mistake like that early in the race, you get passed by packs of people, but he was able to limit the damage and keep himself in position to win the race. I don't mean to overlook Josh Grant's ability to win the race, but I'm just thinking a rider like Josh Hansen, who's already won a main event, might be a bit more experienced at a time like this.
And consider this, too, along with the facts that we saw on the screen, 20 times they've raced 125s here. 15 of those times, the winner of Daytona has become the winner of the championship. Let that little fact sit in your minds for a while. While we take a commercial break, we'll come back to action in the 125 main event here at Daytona. It has already been action-packed, and we're having a lot of fun. Hope you are, too.
Wednesday nights, Unique Whips. Get inside the East Coast premier custom car shop.
This car is for show-off purposes only.
It's not your everyday shop.
You should have hired somebody else to do the dashboard.
Unique Whips, Wednesday nights at 9, exclusively on Speed.
There he is. Here's your mission. The world's depending on you.
Cool.
Sorry.
The new Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R.
Nice bike.
Just try and go unnoticed.
Now you can get in great shape, build muscle, and you can do it fast. All you have to do is dial it up. Turn up the results with the Bowflex Select Tech free weight system. Now you can dial up the weight you want, anywhere from 5 to 52.5 pounds on one single dumbbell. Want 15 pounds? Just turn the dial to 15 and start lifting. Ready for 40? All it takes is the turn of a dial. Now you can get powerful biceps, a sexy core, even chiseled legs in an easy 30-minute workout. Call now to order your Bowflex Select Tech free weight system for no money down and payments of just $9 a month. Order now and we'll include this free DVD, Secrets of the 4-Step Rep, that teaches you perfect free weight techniques. It's time to turn up your results. Call and get your Bowflex Select Tech for just $9 a month.
Up to the lead right now, but just as exciting are the riders coming up through the front. Davey Millsap's up to 8th position, made up about 4 spots, and one big deal. We'll see him in just a few moments as he heads towards the front, but right now we've got to be impressed with the leader. Pass for second.
Pass for second is Troy Adams going in, and Adams is one of those guys. He's a big physical guy. He's 190 pounds on the 254-stroke Honda, but this track plays for strong guys. So watch for Troy Adams. He's been very impressive in the past. He's one of the guys that's going to be pushing at the end of the race.
And Matt Walker, the flags are out. That's the 3rd time he's hit the deck, and what a disgusting night. And Langston has gone down off the triple. He's in a blind spot. Lucky he's not going to get hit. Millsaps is getting around him. Millsaps, we talked about how much progress he'd made. The reason for that was a 57.3, the fastest lap so far, close to what the 250s are running. So he is in position to win the race now.
Grant Langston having all kinds of problems as we continue to watch the leader here. He had gotten up to 5th position.
And one of the problems that a lot of people complain about the 4-strokes, and Grant Langston is right there. He's having a hard time getting his bike started. He finally got it started. He's a distant last place. So everything that you think is going to happen wrong happens here at Daytona. Grant Langston was in a position to make a lot of points on Davey Millsaps, and now goes down on the big triple.
And speaking of having a tough time starting the bike, I talked about Josh Grant's first national. He led it. He was actually pulling a gap on the field at Hangtown last year, tipped over in a rut and could not start the bike and DNF'd the race. And now we're looking at Grant Langston giving up a lot of points here possibly to Davey Millsaps for the title.
Well, this has really turned the title chase upside down. You fellas made the point about 250s versus 450s in the big class, but it seems as though the 4-strokes are completely dominating racing, and with that one little exception, if you stop one, it's hard to get it going again.
Yeah, and you know, there's one other exception, and that would be James Stewart on a 125. He might be able to make something happen there, but for everybody else, there's just not enough torque on a 125 to keep up with these 254 strokes.
And we saw that in the highlight. Here is Grant Langston, the points leader. Well, he was, let's just say, until we do the math, before this tremendous upside-down turn for him. But Josh Grant continues to impress out front while Langston is trying to do damage control.
Well, Grant's in a position to where, I've been in this position with David. You know, you're racing for a championship, and I seen David go down, or David saw me get stuck in a gate at one time. You relax a little bit, and you think, my main competition's got some time out. I can relax. And I think Grant messed up a little bit, relaxed on that big triple, and went down. And now he's just got to claw and dig his way for every point.
The top 6 riders that last lap all turning within a half a second lap time. So Millsaps, all the progress he made early, he's not able to close the gap very much. Okay. And Josh Grant I think he's getting comfortable out front. He seems to be finding the lines he likes. And you know, when you get a lead like this and you got a lot of pressure, it's difficult to get into your rhythm. And he doesn't have a lot of pressure because all the big guys were making mistakes behind him, and he may be able to pull this off, Rick.
But Daytona's been a place for underdogs, and I really didn't, I don't say that Josh Grant is an underdog. There we get the cross flags, which means halfway. He's not an underdog, but Ricky Ryan has won this race. A lot of underdogs have come and won here because anything can go on at Daytona. Here we see Adams in second place, riding very, very strong, but Davey Millsaps moving in, still in sixth place, trying to go by Chad Johnson for fifth place.
Donnie Hansen's son, Josh Hansen, starting to make some progress on the battle for second.
Millsaps 15th on the first lap, is up to fifth. He's heading for the front. Will he get there? We'll see.
The WinFuel Winner's Edge Night, only on Speed. Strap in.
At Progressive Direct, we know motorcycles. That's why the Progressive Group is the largest motorcycle insurance provider in the country. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-746-4881.
Welcome back to the Daytona Supercross by Honda. The leader is Josh Grant, but Adams and Hansen are having a great battle here for second position, and for Hansen, it has championship coloration to it.
Well, you brought up that stat. The winner of this race 15 times gone on to win the title. Now, as this battle heats up, the gap is shrinking to the lead. Josh Hansen can smell a win here. He has no pressure from behind, nothing to lose. Millsaps is not gaining fast enough with the amount of time that's left.
Josh Hansen getting on the inside of Troy Adams and getting by. Adams making a move back in the whoops, and we'll see who comes out on top of that. But another statistic here, KTM has never won a Daytona Supercross. So if Josh Hansen can get up there and win this main event, it'll be a double win for him, and also it's his first Daytona win and also first win for KTM.
A couple of Hondas out front, KTM chasing him, but what about Millsaps? Take a look at a great piece of athleticism and a super save here that happened to him just a little while ago.
Well, Davey Millsaps has got one of those guys that's so much confidence. When he rides, you almost think he doesn't even think about what he's doing. He reminds me a lot of Ronnie Lechien. You look at the save, he just keeps his balance. The bike comes off. It doesn't matter. He just gets right by Chad Johnson, who's been, running strong in the arena cross. But Davey Millsaps on the move forward. He's shrinking that lead. So this race is not over yet.
Hansen has really closed the gap, Brian, now on the leader, Josh Grant. Grant can feel it. I talked about who would be more comfortable up there, somebody with a little bit more experience like Hansen or Josh Grant. I think Hansen would get the nod there, and he's the one able to apply the pressure right now. He's in a good position.
And that indeed will be a big deal as far as the championship goes. I think Millsaps was just showing Johnson there a little freestyle move on the way by. What do you think?
That's just his version of a knack-knack.
Yeah,
Didn't get it all the way over, though.
And we can't see it's off camera right now, but Grant Langston has gone down again. So the frustration for the Pro Circuit Monster Energy guys has gone on. So now Grant has been lapped. He just got lapped by Josh Hansen, and now he's being lapped by Davey Millsaps. So the frustration, he pulls on the track right behind Davey, and you see that Davey is pulling in right behind Troy Adams. So if Davey keeps this thing going, it could be a three-way battle. This could be one of the most exciting finishes in the 125 event we've ever had.
Langston barely holding on inside the top 20, and as Grant Langston went down, we didn't see it. Here's another look.
Coming into the whoops, he gets swapped sideways and just goes down, loses it. That's what I'm talking about this track, David. You got to agree with me. It gets more and more tricky, and the more you try stuff, the more frustrated you get.
No, this is the kind of track where you've got to keep your cool. And he got cross-rutted a little bit in there. The whoops are hard enough, but when you're trying to aim at a rut, it gets even harder. And he was a little bit off balance before he entered the section. Now, Millsaps trying to make a move on Adams, move up a spot.
Troy Adams is one of them clean riders, and Davey Millsaps very aggressive. So I don't think we'll see a lot of sparks flying, but Davey definitely does not want to waste much time because he could have a shot at this win if he gets by Adams soon enough.
That's for third and fourth position on the racetrack right now. Grant with about a 2-second lead over Hansen at this point in the contest. And Josh Grant is coming under attack himself. In fact, here it is as the KTM rider comes up into second position and challenges for the lead. Grant is finding his first challenge of this race. There goes Hansen down on the inside. Couldn't quite make it stick. Here is going to be a very, very critical part of the racetrack that you guys have talked about. Is this where he's going to get it done?
He gets up to side by side, and Josh Hansen takes the lead of the Daytona Supercross. Can Grant come back? He triples. They got lappers in the way. They're going back and forth. That's what this track is about. As the track deteriorates, Josh Grant was able to make up 5 bike lengths in one section just by a small mistake by Hansen.
Pretty good move for a rookie. This is Josh's rookie Supercross season, and I heard reports early on in his Supercross testing that they were considering maybe not having him ride Supercross because he just wasn't flowing with it, and he's flowing pretty good tonight on the most difficult track there is.
A battle for third that turns into hand-to-hand combat as Millsap's got a lot of hard work, all went for nothing there with that collision. We go back to the leader right now, and we're going to have to take a real quick break as another lead exchange is happening. Sorry. Okay, we're going to stay. That's good enough, but we're going to stick with you here as Hansen and Grant are going after it for the lead. Side by side racing. A third place incident there now gives Adams a clear shot at the final podium position, but look at this.
Here comes Josh Grant back. He's getting a run on Hansen and goes back into the lead. This is the kind of stuff that you see that we've talked about. A lot of the young riders haven't showed the heart. Well, both of these guys are giving it.
Millsaps is pulled off the racetrack. He's decided that apparently something has either happened to his machine or to himself. He is not going to be in this one, and that opens the door wide for Hansen to be the man atop the standings when this one is going wrong. There is Davey Millsaps off the course.
He looks to be okay, Brian. He's leaning over the front end. It looks like maybe something wrong with the throttle or the front brake. It was the right side of his bike. I believe it clipped Troy Adams. And Troy, all he did was get squirrely. He didn't mean to make that happen. It was an unfortunate break for Millsaps, the second one of this race.
Well, as they say on 4 wheels, that's racing, but it has been really a serious turn of events for the 2 men atop the point standings coming into this race.
Well, the question is, did Josh Hansen, shoot his round off by making that move too early? Here, Grant, he made his move. Now, Grant came back. A lot of times, if you make that move on somebody and they get you back, it blows you out mentally. And Josh Hansen has been able to get tipped mentally. So Josh Grant is doing a great job at fighting himself back, and he's working through the traffic very well.
Yeah, and that time through that section where Grant was making up time tripling, Hansen was able to triple as well. And you're absolutely right, Rick, and you've done that to me before. I've passed you, and I think, well, okay, well, that's that. And you get me right back, and it throws you completely out of sync, and you got to start from scratch. But what's happened here is Hansen's able to match that pace. Josh is not able to get away from him, so he's able to keep the pressure on, maybe take advantage of a bad decision by Josh through lappers down the stretch.
Definitely, I agree with you 100%, David, on that. White flag, the lappers are going to make this race because both riders are going to be square. We've seen Hansen very aggressive.
And they go! And they go down. That could open it up for Adams if he can get by. And a lot of guys are going to do just exactly that while the 2 leaders are on the ground. They're both up and back going again. Neither one stalled their bike.
We said that this could be the most exciting main event. And I said Hansen is aggressive, but damn, I can't believe this.
Oh, right, folks. Out of time now is Hansen and Grant. Leave it up to me, guys. I can talk under almost any conditions, but that brought me to near speechlessness right now. And with that, it seems as though Hansen came out of the incident the better man. Grant has almost surrendered here, and Josh Hansen has proven to be the guy that could get to his feet and get going and keep his head together best.
They both kept their bikes running, too, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone says the 4 strokes. If they keep running, they both got up and got going, and Hansen made that final aggressive move to force out Grant.
I'll tell you what, Josh is quite a charismatic kid, and I can't wait to hear this interview.
Well, indeed, Josh Hansen, that is looking like he's going to win this one. He settled in on the final lap, and the statistic about 15 times the champion in Daytona turns out to be the titleist, and KTM has its first ever win at Daytona, so you know that the men and women in orange are going to be celebrating big here in Bike Week tonight.
The part that I love is that Josh Grant and Josh Hansen both congratulated each other. They're not swinging, they're not yelling at each other. Josh Hansen looks like he's going to puke a lung, but look at Josh Grant. I might go up and hit him, and be mad at him, but you know what he's saying? That's a great race, and that's what you want to see. 2 champions, 2 warriors battling till that last lap, and both of them saying, hey, you did what you had to win. I congratulate you.
Yeah, Josh is stoked. I mean, if you're going to lose one, that's how. He had such a shot at it. When he went across the finish line, he punched the air, and I was thinking, oh, he's mad. And he rode right up to Hansen. I thought, uh-oh, here we go. He was just riding over to go, dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing. I've talked about that with Ricky Carmichael and Chad Reed. The best thing a warrior could ever have is somebody to fight with, and to see 2 guys, congratulate each other for a battle, because that's what this sport is about. It's a full battle, and they were doing it.
Well, he's obviously got some physical difficulty there going on, and the celebration is going to have to wait just a little bit. But Dave Despain, what do you think?
Well, we talked earlier about these kids that get paid a lot of money and are content to kind of just take the check and not worry about winning the races. I'll take those two Joshes off my list of guys like that. Grant and Hansen, that's as good a race as I've seen in a very, very long time. We're going to need a commercial break. We'll let this kid get himself gathered together, and then we'll come back and hear what he has to say about a dramatic finish for this 125 main event. Don't go anywhere.
Sundays on Speed. On this show, everyone's got an opinion.
Why would anybody want that?
Just let my drive and do the talking.
Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. Sunday nights, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on Speed.
Who says you can't win them all? The YFZ 450 from Yamaha. For a limited time, get special financing on all new Yamaha ATVs. Performance and protection that goes and goes. For 5,000, 7,500, or 15,000 miles, introducing new high-endurance oils for mobile. 3 new formulations that provide powerful, long-lasting protection of critical engine parts. For 5,000, 7,500, or 15,000 miles, guaranteed. New high-endurance oils for mobile. The oil that's changing oil.
All the baseball you want and then some. MLB Extra Innings from DirecTV. More of your favorite players, more of your favorite teams, and all the pennant races. Up to 60 games each week you won't get if you don't call. MLB Extra Innings from DirecTV. Order now and save $20.
Go around the world and get back into college. Get inside the NBA and go way outside. Get the widest variety of sports in Sports Pack with over 25 specialty and regional sports networks, all for only $12 or less per month. Order now at directv.com or call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Be sure to tune in 9 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday night for Unique Whips. Will Castro and his crew turning expensive cars into unique rides for the rich and famous. Save one for these two kids that have just put on a spectacular performance here in the 125 main event at the Daytona Supercross. Problems for Grant Langston and Davey Millsap, the championship challengers. And that left number 35, Josh Grant, number 100, Josh Hansen, as they come down to the last lap with Hansen in the lead, and or check that with Grant in the lead. And let's watch how this one unfolds. Here comes the challenge from Hansen, side by side, and down they both go. Somehow they kept those motorcycles going. Who's going to get back on first? Who's headed the right direction? And in the end, it is Josh Hansen who wins it. Both guys are standing by with our Greg White.
What an incredible race. How are you feeling right now? And tell me about it.
I mean, I feel good. It was definitely it was a tiring race. I didn't get the good start, and you know, Josh was out there out front. You know, he made it easy for himself for sure. You know, and I caught up, and I was like, you know, last lap I seen it come out, and I'm like, dude, this is gonna be do or die. So I went into that corner, went outside, and went inside, and I thought he had let off, but you know, I mean, we had a big tangle up, and I just thank God and both of our bikes were running, dude, because 4-strokes are a pain to start. So I'm stoked. Daytona is the gnarliest race of the year, and you know, this is where the boys, you know, the men are separated from the boys, you know, and I think me and Josh, I mean, we showed it out here, and it was a good race.
Congratulations. So, Josh.
Thank some people. I got to thank KTM Red Bull KTM, Dunlop Tires, Troy Lee Designs, Dragon, my mechanic Oscar, my family, Donnie Hansen, and Big L, the truck driver, and that's it.
All right, cool, man. Congratulations. Wow, what a show you guys put on, Josh. I mean, you were there, you led this thing, and then it came down, you guys were banging and fell down. How are you feeling right now?
A little winded. I saw that white flag, and I was just, so happy to be up front. Man, I was really nervous, and then Josh went inside when we both fell. The only thing I think about is picking that bike up before it stalled. So it was actually good, and I'm glad to be up here after all this hard work and stuff. So.
Well, thanks for giving us one of the most entertaining 125 races we've seen in a long time. Congratulations on second place.
Thanks. I'd like to thank everyone at Amsoil, Factory Connection, Honda, Napster, Shift, my mechanic Naveen, my dad, my mom, everyone for helping me out. Thanks.
All right, get on the podium. All right, Brian.
All right, our congratulations to both of those kids. And fellas, we're going to take a look at the results here right now, but I believe we're going to possibly get another chance to take a look at that. Hansen and Grant, with all due respect to everybody else, that was the race, folks, but the championship is going to really go upside down. Josh Hansen, unofficially and very much by our own math, will be the new point leader. Here are the names of the men who finished all the way down. Look at Grant Langston in 15th position. Big problem for his championship challenge. And Davey Millsaps in 18th, even worse. We do have the points now. We'll be able to show you how the championship goes as Greg Schnell and Matt Walker, who had a horrible night, round out the top 22 finishers. Here it is. 2 points back now instead of 7 points up on Davey Millsaps is Grant Langston. Millsaps 12 points behind the leader, who is now Josh Hansen. And yes, that last lap is worth another look, fellas, and I'm just going to step back and let y'all have it.
Well, going into this, David Bailey and I have had some epic battles. Everyone talks about the Anaheim race. We didn't take each other out. And I knew Hansen was an aggressive kid, and he was going to go for it. Grant leaves the door open, and bang, they both go down. And next thing you know, they're both scrambling to get their bikes up. And Hansen picks it up, but notice he has to hold the clutch with one hand, switch it, and the bike still gets going.
That's just so amazing. I mean, those guys were absolutely exhausted, and yet they were so quick to get to those bikes and keep them running. Look at Josh, comes to the inside thinking, oh, this could be clean, but Josh had no idea, and he saw it kind of late, couldn't avoid the collision. Those lappers are like, what in the world is going on?
Avoid the collision. I think he was looking for it. I've been in that position racing against you where, okay, maybe if I can take him out, I can rest the last half a lap. So I think that's what he was going for.
And I think the most amazing thing to me was that they each got on the correct motorcycle and kept going again in all that confusion. We'll be right back with more from Daytona.
Speed Channel's coverage of AMA Supercross racing from Daytona. Brought to you by Suzuki, maker of performance-driven motorcycles, scooters, and all-terrain vehicles. And by Progressive Motorcycle Insurance. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or visit progressive.com for a free quote.
Suzuki motorcycles and ATVs have been making hearts race for years. Suzuki Fest is no different. APR as low as 6.95% on select motorcycles and ATVs. Monthly payments starting at just $67. Race in, ride off.
What's up?
Is this what your insurance company thought when you told them you had a Ninja? At Progressive Direct, we know motorcycles. That's why the Progressive Group is the largest motorcycle insurance provider in the country. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-746-4881.
Is your dandruff on full blast? Turning people off? Garnier Fructis Fortifying Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Created with Perithione zinc, it blows dandruff flakes away. It's proven. The Garnier Fructis system makes hair up to 5 times stronger and so much shinier. So effective, no flakes, guaranteed. Kiss those flakes goodbye. For hair that shines with all its strength, Garnier Fructis Fortifying Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Garnier.
Traction, comfort, trimmed in leather and built to handle any terrain. Introducing the Subaru Forester LL Bean Edition. With its unique blend of rugged capability and impeccable styling, this is one vehicle worthy of the LL Bean name, both inside and out. The Forester and Outback LL Bean Editions from the new Subaru.
Through March 31st, get financing as low as 1.9% on all 2005 Subaru models.
Back at Daytona, the Supercross presented by Honda. Crowd getting all fired up here for the main event of the evening, the 250 final, and Ricky Carmichael's potential Rendezvous with history on a track that has lived up to its billing here this evening. Because the circuit at Daytona is unique, it always gets a lot of attention. Gary Bailey was a pioneer of this sport, rode in the first Daytona Supercross. That was relatively late in his career, and it wasn't called Supercross back then. He retired, he started a motocross school, and he began making the lives of the competitors miserable by designing the Daytona course. He's done it now for 30-odd years, and we spent a few minutes talking to the professor about the challenge of building the track and the challenge it presents to the riders.
Well, I've been building the Daytona track for 35 years, and it's fun because it's Daytona. 35 years is a long time to be doing anything, much less building the track. But it's a lot of fun coming here and building it and just being involved with the Speedway and seeing the way it's changed in the years. That's probably the biggest thing is when we first started building this track was actually built with a motor grader and a little front end loader and a lot of shovels and a lot of handwork.
The brainchild of Bill France Sr. and the professor, Gary Bailey, the inaugural Daytona race back in 1971 fell to Husqvarna's Brian Kenny. It was considered an outdoor motocross. In fact, the 72 and 73 races at Daytona paid points toward the AMA Motocross Championship. 4 years into its history, 1974, the Daytona Round opened a new series called the AMA Supercross Championship. But no matter what it's called, the Daytona Classic has always smiled on a special kind of rider.
The guys that win here are the tough ones. They're the guys that are tough. They're the guys that are physically fit, and it's pretty much been through, I mean, hey, we got Ricky Carmichael, who's pretty much dominated this thing here pretty well, and Jeff Stanton, who dominated here. And if I had more to say about exactly how it was built, I would actually build it a little tougher and throw in a couple of obstacles. I remember the old days when if there was a sheer wall there, nobody complained about it. Nobody whined. Nobody, today everybody's like, well, it's not just like the other ones, and it's not perfect. But I don't know, never know that everything had to be exactly perfect. I mean, if it's different and it's more of a challenge to, as long as it's safe, that's my thing. I want to build it as tough as possible, but as safe as possible.
The configuration and surface ensure that the Daytona Supercross will be unlike any other on the circuit. That makes the track and its builder an easy target for the critics.
I decided to soften it up, and I heard more complaining that one year that I softened it up from the riders going, what's the matter, Bailey? You getting soft in your old age and da-da-da-da-da. And I thought, well, you know what? That's the last time I think I'm ever going to hear that. So I'm going to make sure that I try and keep it just as rough as possible. So they seem to always complain at first when they first get here and they're walking the track and they complain about it. At the end of the day, most people are going, hey, you know what? The track come out pretty good. It's actually pretty nice. I kind of liked it. The interesting thing was when my son David was racing, every year he'd get here, he hated the racetrack. He'd always go, Dad, do you want to change this? And I go, I'm building the racetrack, you're racing, shut up.
Long, rough, and sandy, the Daytona layout is a unique challenge on the Supercross circuit, and Bailey puts the emphasis on challenge.
I like to try and build things a little bit different than all the other Supercrosses, just for the fact that I want to see how the guys handle those situations differently. So, and I always want to try and keep it Daytona. I don't ever want to try and get it exactly like the other Supercrosses if it's all possible. My sand whoops are definitely the personalized thing, and I usually build at least 2 sections of them, sometimes 3, and trying to make them a little bit of a variety.
For Bailey, this is all sort of personal. He raced Daytona the first 4 years it ran. A decade later, in 1984, he watched his son David win the big race. Last year, he presided over the first night race in Daytona Supercross history. And tonight, as this American classic celebrates another anniversary, we say thanks to the professor, Gary Bailey, for 35 years of great memories.
What's going to happen when I'm not building anymore at Daytona? I don't really know. It'll probably change when I'm not building it because somebody's going to come in with a whole new, different idea of how you build things and how the layout is. I just have no idea. It's an interesting thought, but I know one thing. Me and my buddy Don Flaner that helps me build the track, we decided that the first year that I'm not building the Daytona track, we're coming to Daytona and we're going to be the full-on spectators. We're going to just come out and just have a great time and just bring our street bikes down here and really enjoy what Bike Week is really all about.
on those bull tacos back in the day or on the bulldozer these days. That guy has made some huge contributions to this sport, and we are abundantly blessed with Bailey's, aren't we? We have that one who built the track, and we have his son David up in the booth. What do you think, guys? What kind of job has he done this year?
Oh, I love it, you know, and as like he said, it's so true, and it's funny that I love hearing him say, shut up, because I totally remember that, and actually that was the year that I won, but typically, like you said, you walk the track and you're like, yeah, it could be a little wider here, this could have been different. This year is the best track that I've ever seen.
Well, as we're watching the last chance qualifier, Kyle Lewis is in second place. I love Daytona. This was the most international event. You got people from all over. It's not just a Supercross. It's not just a motocross. This is bike week. This is where you got people on Ducatis, Harley Davidsons, people from all over in the stands watch and love motorcycling. We get to perform in front of them. Also, like Gary said, if you win here, it meant you were a tough guy, and it kind of gave you a badge of being a man. I was fortunate enough to win this race twice. David and I had some great battles, and like Gary says, you know, everybody whines about something. You know, if you like big jumps, you want big jumps. I like the whoops, so I was happy about the whoops. So, you know, all in all, this year it's one of the best tracks because the gods worked with him. You know, he built the track. It rained for the past 2 days, and then today the sun came out, so it made the jumps hard, the sand hold all the water. So we are ready for the best, I would say, the best Supercross at Daytona we've had in a long, long time.
The crowd certainly seems to enjoy it, and for someone like me that doesn't have as much experience as you fellas, I took a lot of stock in what Chad Reed said, that a lot of the tracks, and Ricky Carmichael, that a lot of the tracks are similar. This one is the one that's different.
And as we talked about, exactly, this one's different. It's fast, it's physical, but Chad Reed, who's known for a technical Supercross style, was 2.5 seconds faster in his heat race time than Ricky Carmichael. So Ricky hates that, David. You know how bad he hates to lose, and you said he was doing an acting job. So what's Ricky Carmichael going to do to make up that 1/10 of a second per lap that he was losing to Chad Reed?
Whatever it takes. That's what Ricky, it's what makes him so exciting. That's what made Travis Pastrana so exciting when he was doing well and winning championships in the 125 East Supercross and 125 Nationals. And Bob Hanna, you know, it's Ricky figures out a way in the moment to raise his game, rise to the occasion. And, you know, Rick, I can remember a lot of times watching you in practice thinking, man, he's not going to have a good night. And then he'd hole shot the main and walk away from us. Ricky could do the same thing.
Okay, guys, we got a last chance qualifier going on out on the racetrack, but we also had semis that helped complete the field here, and we've got highlights of those races. So let's share them with the fans at home here on Speed.
The first semi was loaded with plenty of talent. Watch as they come into the first corner. Lots of bumping around. Kyle Lewis getting bumped off the track by Mike Young, but it was eventually number 103, Sebastian Tortelli, who would take over. Tyler Evans up in there.
Here we got Sebastian Tortelli down the outside. Mike Young makes a small mistake, but he comes back. Sebastian forcing him out a little bit, pinching a little bit, but here's where the difference is. Sebastian triples where Mike Young doubles, but watch Sebastian blows his feet off the pegs. He is a tough kid. I've worked with him a long time. Sebastian gets out in front.
This was set up. Kyle Lewis going off the track, almost hitting our pit reporter Greg White down there, and that was set up because it was Tyler Evans who wasn't able to double through that section properly. It threw everybody off behind him. Watch Evans coming back right here. Makes his time back up, gives Mike Young a little nudge right there. You don't mess with Tyler Evans for that final transfer spot.
Definitely, but it was a French revolution out front with Sebastian Tortelli and his RMZ Suzuki 450 pulling home semi number 1.
And the French tradition continued in the second semi as David Villemin looked like he was able to pull the whole shot.
We'll get to that in a moment as we take a look at the 5 riders who qualify out of semi number 1. Here is the second one, and you've already given away the finish, but here's how they got there.
Eric Vallejo, very strong Mexican rider, getting out and getting the whole shot. Eric's been very great. He gets up there. David Villemin coming in the inside and showing why he's one of the fastest riders in the world.
I was a little bit surprised that he wasn't able to get that transfer spot when he needed it.
Alof making a big swap, but holding it together. You can see how the track is coming down. And here's Damon Huffman passing Eric Vallejo for second position. These guys are going back and forth. Once again, you want to get as far forward as you can so that you have that better starting position. But once again, it was David Villemin.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't get the position in the heat race because he was riding well, and he showed it there in the semi. Watch this action for the final spot.
Isaiah Johnson and DeHaan going back and forth, but Isaiah Johnson getting up, jumping on his bike. He went around the bell, but he did not make up a position. And that was the final qualifying position out of semi number 2.
And here are the results with Buellman, Huffman, Vallejo, Olhoff, and Johnson all making it into the main event. The last chance qualifier going on right now will complete the field here, but we are definitely beginning to build the anticipation for that 250 main, and it looks like all the main players are in it. Quite a few of the road racing guys and even some of the dirt trackers you can see standing around watching the races. This is the hottest ticket in town, and now we're looking at action from the last chance qualifier. A pass for the lead as Lewis goes by Plotz.
Plotz has not been running strong this year, but Kyle Lewis getting his nose in there. They're going back and forth. This will be a big win for Plotz if he wins it. They're both qualifying position, and Plotz brings home the victory. You can see it doesn't matter if it's a last chance. If you win a race in a Supercross, especially as deep as this field is, Plotz can definitely hold his head up because he did a great job.
And that completes the field for tonight's main event. And congratulations to all of the riders who are in it. We'll be back to present them to you after this.
Strap in for 2 incredible racing series this weekend on Speed. First, American Le Mans. Glory doesn't always go to the fastest.
Here we are, the battle for the lead.
But to those who endure the punishment, the 12 hours of Sebring Live. Then, Formula One. Sweeping corners, blistering straights.
There's the battle for third.
And 200-mile-an-hour road warriors.
It's about the checkered flag.
The Malaysian Grand Prix Live. American Le Mans and Formula One. This Saturday beginning at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. Only on Speed.
The new Kodiak 450 automatic 4x4 from Yamaha. For a limited time, get special financing on all new Yamaha ATVs.
How can a 50-year-old grandmother look this good? Simple. She strength trains with Bowflex.
My results are very real. I lost 17 pounds in the first 5 weeks on my Bowflex.
All it takes for great results is one simple workout done 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Own your very own Bowflex Extreme for no money down and payments of just $19 a month. If you want real results, you need a real Bowflex. Call us for a free DVD or video or visit us online today.
Fox Soccer Channel is America's home for the world's favorite sport. Over 1,200 live matches each year from the best leagues and tournaments around the globe. The English Premier League, Argentine League, German Bundesliga, the FA Cup, Major League Soccer, plus much more. Fox Soccer Channel.
Your world, your life,
your game.
Brought to you in part by NikeSoccer.com and WinFuel.
Tune in to Fox Soccer Channel, available on channel 613.
With a big points lead and a lot of confidence, Yamaha's Chad Reed was the easy pick for last year's Daytona Supercross win. 4-time winner Ricky Carmichael sidelined with injury, so this marked the first time in a long time the race lacked a previous winner. It was an opportunity for Reed to break new ground and demonstrate his prowess on this non-traditional Supercross layout, but his big lead took a big hit right here. Crashed heavily but never lost the lead, got back up in a lot of pain and recovered for his first ever Daytona Supercross victory. That extended his point lead toward the eventual championship. The runner-up honors went to Kevin Windham, who battled teammate Mike LaRocco for the last 2 spots on the podium.
That was then and this is now. Chad Reed does have Ricky Carmichael to contend with. And as the Daytona Supercross by Honda gets ready to go with the 250 main event, let's take a look at our progressive starting grid. It'll go across the top of the screen as Ricky Carmichael takes us around the track with his helmet cam.
Ricky Carmichael, an interesting fact, he has led 140 laps here at Daytona. Chad Reed has led 24.
An amazing statistic that somewhat reflects the situation in the championship. We're on board with Ricky Carmichael right now.
Correct that. It was for the season. My bad. Ricky Carmichael has led 140 laps this year, and Chad Reed 24 with Kevin Windham 8.
Nice look at those ruts coming out of that corner right before the finish line. Those ruts are in every corner, and the cool thing about it is sometimes the sand can form a one-line deal, and everywhere you look in the corners, there's several lines, plenty of places to pass. So if Ricky or Chad get together in the first corner and don't get the starts they want for whatever reason, they can come through the pack.
And with that, let's go down to Greg White before we get started.
Well, Chad Reed did have the quicker heat, so he got to pick his gate. And where does he choose? Way on the outside. So where does Ricky Carmichael set up? Well, just 2 gates over. A little bit of gamemanship heading into turn 1. Well, David, Ricky, you could tell me better than I could tell myself.
Well, I'll tell you what, Greg. Anytime that David Bailey, when I was racing for him for the championship in '86, if he started, 4 from the inside, I was 3. Why? I wanted to go into the first turn, take him out, get him confused with the last 2 guys. And here you look at the 2 of them. You got Chad Reed all the way on the inside, but you got Ricky Carmichael just out a little bit. Is he going to try to stuff him to the inside? You know, there's going to be a physical game. You can say that you're out there to race the track, but these 2 guys have lapped a lot of times everybody all the way up to 3rd place.
And may I point out that number 5, Mike LaRocco, is in between them. Not a man to be a little bit meek going into turn 1 either.
You know what seems to happen too, and I don't think this is by design or anything, but every time Chad Reed and LaRocco get together, it ain't good.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Yeah, and it's got to be on their minds a little bit, and Ricky's probably thinking, good, you guys go ahead and take yourselves out, and I'll just go ahead and go around the first corner first.
Here's some fun facts. This race has been held for 35 years. We knew that from the feature earlier. Honda has swept the podium 3 times. And like in 125, the Daytona winner has ended up being the titleist 15 times out of all the years it's been held. 17 different winners have won, but no one has ever won on 3 different brands. Well, that could change here, in the near future. And then you can see that there are a number of riders, including Staten, who got their one and only win here at Daytona. It is something of a specialist. Lots of guys have never won here, and there are their names, including Mike LaRocco, who makes his 14th start here without a win as we get set to go.
Advantage
250 main.
to that inside, Brian, is that I don't think Ricky or Chad or LaRocco, for that matter, need to get there first. They just got to get there in a decent position, even mid-pack, and they can tuck it around the inside. The board is sideways.
We're getting set to go here for the 250 main event. And the gate is down. Pretty even start right across. It's an Oklahoma land rush, but it's in Florida. We're looking from on board with Ricky Carmichael. He makes up a few spots on the inside. Not in the lead, but he's still upright.
Chad Reed with the lead.
Chad Reed getting out front. Mike LaRocco second. Actually, Travis Preston in second. Now Ricky Carmichael in third. So we're getting set up for a great main event. And here goes Ricky Carmichael. And they're both swapping. Oh, it's by Mike LaRocco ending up out of the woods in second place.
Carmichael almost going down. A beautiful save. Looked a lot like St. Louis last week. That kid is so strong. That could have been the end of the race for him, and he held on once again.
He leaps into second position, but LaRocco's not giving up. Carmichael always seems to enjoy at least the role of the hunter rather than the hunted, although he's not bad out front either.
Well, you know what's interesting is Reed in his interview said, I want to beat Ricky Carmichael at his game on an outdoor track at Daytona where he's such a specialist. 4 wins in a row, going for 5. Chad Reed's got the lead. He had the faster heat. He had the faster lap time. He was the first guy to do the triple that they're approaching. Carmichael has got to run him down now, and he can do it. But this is what everybody came here to see. Stage is set.
A big lead for Chad Reed right now, putting a lot of pressure on Ricky Carmichael, and we've seen Carmichael trying to run Reed down and make a mistake in the process. We've also seen him make mistakes out front. It's a pressure-filled situation.
Right as we came onto that shot, Chad Reed was swapping through the whoops. So it doesn't matter if you're within 5 to 6 seconds at this racetrack, one mistake, and it's going to take that much to gather your stuff back. We saw Grant Langston go down. We saw Davey Millsaps go down. It's not always the fastest guy. A lot's going to happen. Let's watch this. Watch Ricky Carmichael manipulate this course.
I love being a fly on his helmet, trying to chase Chad Reed there with that onboard camera. And there is Carmichael. A good tight look at him. Just 2 seconds in front is Chad Reed the last time they crossed the start-finish.
What's got to be on their minds right now is Atlanta, where Chad had the whole shot. Ricky was able to catch and pass him, fell down, and had a little bit more of a gap than this to make up, and was able to make it up. Chad was disgusted. He's going, man, I had it handed to me, and I just didn't ride like I wanted to. Here he has an opportunity to try to turn that around.
Well, if we're looking at lap times, the first lap, Chad Reed with a 55.9, Ricky Carmichael with a 56.1, and then Mike LaRocco with a 57.4. So these 2 riders are setting up to get out in front. And we got to remember, though, these guys are going to be going through lappers, so anything can happen. Don't look at Chad Reed's lead right now and think the race is is over.
He has increased his lead, however, and Carmichael is not gaining on him, at least for the moment. Any thoughts about why that might be happening?
He just doesn't, it looks like he's trying to make it happen. He wants this win so bad. Sometimes when you try a little bit too hard, like Rick, you alluded to a little earlier, and you just can't do that on this racetrack. And if Chad can get a little bit of a flow going, relax just a little bit without having Carmichael reeling him in, and I think he's going to go even faster, but it looked like that lap, actually, Carmichael made up some time.
Couple of tenths, not much, so we're talking about inches here, and he needs yards.
Definitely, but it's going to be these whoops that are going to make the difference, and you watch both of them swapping and going side by side. You know, this race is just shaping up, and like I said, I can't emphasize enough. Right now, they're an open track, everything's going, and they can ride the line that they want to ride. But let me tell you, there's been a couple occasions where they've lapped everybody all the way up to third place, so the race is just starting to unfold.
Yeah, Ricky is starting to find his groove now. Sorry, Brian. He's definitely found his rhythm, and I guarantee you Reed can feel that pressure, so it's kind of an Atlanta deal all over again. If Chad Reed tightens up, Ricky's going to win this easily.
Reminiscent of Atlanta, but this one is far from over. Will it be deja vu all over again, or Bujade doing something now they might do again?
One novice bike builder.
Here's the deal.
In the ultimate challenge.
You do a great job, it's your bike.
Build a custom iron horse in 30 days. Build or bust.
I shouldn't have to explain this.
Wednesday night today, only on Speed.
Strap in for 2 incredible racing series this weekend on Speed. First, American Le Mans. Glory doesn't always go to the fastest.
Here we are, the battle for the lead.
But to those who endure the punishment, the 12 hours of Sebring Live. Then, Formula One. Sweeping corners, blistering straights.
There's the battle for third.
And 200-mile-an-hour road warriors.
It's about the checkered flag.
The Malaysian Grand Prix Live. American Le Mans and Formula One. This Saturday beginning at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, only on Speed.
Tough is 10-gauge steel scraping on a granite slab. Tough is the world's only 800 EFI with monster torque and dual exhaust. Tough is built-in storage that protects your gear. The 2005 Sportsman ATVs.
Get to the Polaris test ride event happening now and drive off on a new ATV for just $49 a month.
Polaris, the world's toughest ATVs.
Is this what your insurance company thought when you told them you had a bent fork? At Progressive Direct, we know motorcycles. That's why the Progressive Group is the largest motorcycle insurance provider in the country. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-746-4881.
There he is.
Here's your mission. The world's depending on you.
Cool.
Sorry.
The new Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R.
Nice bike.
Just try and go unnoticed.
Speed Channel coverage of the Daytona Supercross is brought to you by Kawasaki, the leading edge of power, performance, exhilaration. And by Parts Unlimited. We support the sport.
You have been riding on board with Ricky Carmichael. Chad Reed is that dot in the distance. And fellas, I have to ask both of you, Would you rather follow or lead at this point in this race? Which is the advantageous position?
Right now, I would definitely want to be Ricky Carmichael because you're watching Chad Reed, who he knows had a faster lap time and had a faster heat, so he can try different lines, try inside, try out, and he's getting facts of which is faster. Chad Reed, on the other hand, has to try something, and it could be a big mistake and lose that lead. Ricky Carmichael is slowly inching away at it, so I would choose rather to follow the lead. David?
Yeah, I think that's going to, right now I'd rather be Chad, but when they get into lappers, I'd rather be Carmichael, and that's going to happen here pretty quick. You know, Carmichael has definitely found his rhythm. He's definitely putting the pressure on. Chad can feel it, but that last lap, he held his gap. So Carmichael looks a little shakier, actually, but he always does.
And I find that particularly interesting because in road racing, which we're also doing here, you want to be the first guy through the lappers. You're saying the second guy. Why?
Well, what happens a lot of times is, you know, the lap riders don't realize the leaders are coming up as fast as they are, and the blue flag comes out, and they don't get out of the way as easily as they do once they see the leader come by. They're like, oh, okay, it's the leaders. I definitely got to get out of the way, and it usually kind of yields a little bit better to the guy in second place.
The two riders coming up on the first lap rider that they've caught at speed. There's been a couple riders that have gone down that they've passed passively, but now Jason Thomas is coming up. He has to just move over and let them by, but sometimes you can't get out of the way. You get stuck in those ruts. Right there, you see how close and tight it is. This Daytona track, when it gets the deep ruts and that's your only option, sometimes you end up banging into the lap riders.
See him jump right over that hay bale right there. I mean, they're doing whatever they got to do to try to find a smooth or a little bit faster line. And you know, I think what Chad's got to do here is just not leave an opening. You know, I think he can put up with the pressure. I think he's got the fitness to go the distance. He just cannot leave the door open. If he goes wide anywhere, Ricky's going to shove it in.
So as the track continues to change, it's almost like riding in the woods. You got to find your line different every lap almost.
But it's unbelievable. Let's just listen to what Ricky Carmichael is doing and watch how he catches Chad Reed.
Coming up on him now, that's for sure. As Carmichael and Reed are on the same berm, and the distance between them you can see on the screen. On the clock, it's less than a second. It was up to 2.5 at one point. Here it comes. Ricky Carmichael inching up towards him, and traffic is beginning to play itself out.
This is the closest Carmichael has been the whole race. Chad can feel it. The crowd's on its feet. They're making noise. The crowd is in it. This is the biggest challenge ever since Ricky's won this race that he's ever had.
Okay, let's just watch this for a lap. And, you don't need a commentator to see what's going on.
Talked about how Chad couldn't leave the door open anywhere. He took the furthest inside line to that corner yet because he could feel Ricky's pressure.
I have to tell you folks, this is the best helmet cam I've ever seen. I can actually, it reminds me of when I used to ride. I just didn't go this fast. And it's unbelievable how they're jumping side by side. These two guys, these are the best in the world right now, and they are hard.
Ricky almost going down the biggest squawk trying to chase him down right there.
I can't decide if I need, you know, some sort of depressant or just Dramamine. We're at halfway right now as Chad Reed continues to lead Ricky Carmichael. We're going to have to take a quick commercial break. You know how it is here in the US of A. We'll be right back, and we promise you won't miss a thing.
Sundays on Speed. On this show, everyone's got an opinion.
Why would anybody want that?
Just let my driving do the talking.
Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. Sunday nights, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on Speed.
Who's ready to ride?
The new CRFs from Honda. Who wants to ride?
America's favorite home gym is more affordable than ever. Now you can get the all-new Bowflex Extreme for just $19 a month. Call the number on your screen for a free DVD or video and check it out. Bowflex's Power Rod technology delivers results. Powerful arms, defined legs, a stronger chest, and a toned, sexy core. And owning a Bowflex home gym is so affordable. Great results are easy with a new Extreme. All it takes is one simple workout, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, to get in the best shape of your life. The Extreme is built so well that we back it with an unrivaled 7-year warranty. And so effective, it comes with Bowflex's 100% satisfaction guarantee. Through this special offer, you can own one with no money down and just $19 per month. You can't get this Bowflex deal anywhere else. Call us for a free DVD or video, or visit us online and find out how to get your Bowflex for just $19 a month today.
Once again, Brian, Chad taking that far inside line. He must have heard what I said.
Well, and one thing that you got to watch, because here at Daytona with this sand, you can't sit in someone's roost too long, because no matter how good your goggles are, they run a laminate and tear off, you still can eat a lot of roost. But Ricky Carmichael never waits. Like sometimes I would like to pressure, if I got behind David, I'd want to push on him a little bit to maybe frustrate him. Ricky Carmichael, if there's a door open, he takes the first chance and just runs with it.
Yeah, he doesn't hesitate. Same with James Stewart. Both those guys, they never hesitate. And that pressure is so difficult to deal with. Rick, when I had you on me, or Bob Hanna, you were the only 2 guys that ever really bothered me that bad. And Chad has done an outstanding job at holding this pressure off. He's got a gap now because Ricky made a mistake trying to run this pace. Yeah, we had a really good close-up of Chad going through the whoops, and in the background, Ricky Carmichael swaps and loses about 2.5 seconds. So that's what I'm talking about. Don't think that a lead of under 10 seconds is going to make a difference. You know how I was able to finally deal with the pressure with you is watch Ricky's mistake. Probably going to get a little bit cross-rutted. That's what he did the first lap, actually a little bit worse. That save right there doesn't surprise me at all, but what happened was he lost a lot of time. And going back to the pressure and how to deal with it, if you think about how many laps are left, it's too overwhelming. So I used to just think, if I could just hold you off one more lap, and then I was in the clear, maybe I'd get a gap, and that's what's happened for Chad. Now he can relax just a little bit. A very similar race that David, you and I had in Japan, where we had a lot of lappers. We ran a GP, and the lappers determined the outcome. You know, you'd get a lap, you catch a lapper, I'd catch you, I'd get a lead, same thing. So now Ricky Carmichael is stuck behind Tyler Evans, and you can see the gap of about 2.5 seconds of the split between the 2 riders. The last lap, Reed turned a 56.6, Carmichael a 57, probably because of the mistake. They've got almost a 19 or 20-second lead now over 3rd place. LaRocco is holding off Villeman, and Preston rounding out the top 5. We promise there's other riders in this race, but this is just too good.
And we asked, of course, Greg White specifically asked Ricky Carmichael, when do you start racing points? Are we seeing that happen right now, or is he still on the chart?
He will throw the title away because he wants to win this so bad. You know what's important? I was talking to a friend of mine today, and I'm going, if Chad Reed can win Daytona, that would be a huge upset. On paper, Chad's just as good in the sand and all that. But I think everybody here would agree it would be a huge upset. And my friend goes, dude, it's Gettysburg. Whoever wins this race could win the war.
Exactly. That's what we've seen historically. 15 times the Daytona winner has come out the Supercross 250 champion. You're watching Chad Reed with our Rhino Cam riding alongside him on the racetrack there. We've got so much great action here and so many ways to look at it. Reed has definitely maintained. He's increased the lead again to 2 seconds, partially because of Carmichael's mistake, but this is just too close to call just yet, and we got 7 more laps of it.
All it takes is one little swap in the whoops, one little flush of a wheel, and Ricky Carmichael's going to be back on Chad Reed's wheel. So the race is not over. And like David said, this could decide the title. You know, if Chad beats Ricky, he could get flustered. I don't see him. I've seen a lot of guys beat him, and I don't see him get too sideways when it comes to an overall championship. But
you never see him be beat at Daytona.
Exactly.
That's a different deal.
You know, you watched Kevin Windham beat him a little bit 2 years ago in the outdoors, and that frustrated him, and also when Chad beat him a little bit in the Supercross. But right now, like I said, the lappers are going to play a big part in this race.
We'll be right back with more from the Daytona Supercross by Honda. The 2 leaders are a 1.5 seconds apart. Everybody else is nowhere to be seen.
This weekend on Speed. First, glory doesn't always go to the fastest.
Here we are, the battle for the lead.
American Le Mans. Then F1's 200-mile-an-hour road warriors.
Good button, hold them off.
Take on the Malaysian Grand Prix. Saturday beginning at 10:30 only on Speed.
Serious about dirt? So are we. Yamaha, the adrenaline specialists, has an offer that'll really get you pumping. Get any Yamaha for as low as $39 a month, plus up to $200 cash back.
Is your dandruff on full blast? Turning people off? Garnier Fructis Fortifying Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Created with Perithione zinc, it blows dandruff flakes away. It's proven. The Garnier Fructis system makes hair up to 5 times stronger and so much shinier. So effective, no flakes, guaranteed. Kiss those flakes goodbye. For hair that shines with all its strength, Garnier Fructis Fortifying Anti-Dandruff Shampoo.
Garnier.
Standard 1-year OnStar service, available satellite navigation, and rear DVD, the Chevy Trailblazer is technology to go. Chevy Trailblazer, an American revolution.
Is this what your insurance company thought when you told them you owned a sissy bar? At Progressive Direct, we know motorcycles. That's why the Progressive Group is the largest motorcycle insurance provider in the country. Visit Progressive.com or call 1-800-746-4881.
Here we are, and the battle is still on. It is still just over a second difference between the two leaders. Chad Reed and Ricky Carmichael are 22 seconds ahead of the third-place rider, Mike LaRocco. David Buellman, the running order is on the top of your screen, and folks, you're going to have to be satisfied with that for the moment because we're going to watch these two guys race, and you are sitting on top of Ricky Carmichael's helmet.
Second place last year, Kevin Windham has now moved into the top 5, but nowhere near these guys. I mean, we could go back in the pack and show you some of that, but there's not much of a battle. And you know what? This is what the season is about. Ricky Carmichael and Chad Reed. Chad Reed putting it to him on Carmichael's track.
Ricky Carmichael making a small mistake in that rhythm section and losing more time to Chad.
Nice save by Chad Reed.
No, he got stalled out a little bit, though, and lost some time there. So Carmichael, maybe it's going to come down, fellas, to the one who makes the fewest mistakes at this point. That mistake might not be enough.
They're so on the edge right now, and they cannot go any faster than this without paying a huge price for it.
Here we look at Carmichael. What he does is he gets off of this, and he gets off rhythm a little bit, and he faces that jump, loses a lot of time. But Ricky Carmichael, so strong, so physical, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. He loses time, but he doesn't injure himself.
I wonder what would happen just a moment ago as they lapped Tim Ferry. Carmichael, you can see just passing the rider in the blue back there, number 15, Tim Ferry. Of course, Chad Reed's teammate. I wondered if he would put up a little bit of resistance, but he didn't.
Ricky Carmichael casing that triple again. So Ricky having a lot of trouble in that rhythm section, and Chad Reed squeaks out a little more space.
Let's go to Greg White.
Well, I'm standing down here in Mechanics Alley where all the pit boards come out, and last time Ricky Carmichael came by, his foot got caught and kicked back when he was going through a rut. And as he was going by, he was shaking his head. So not a good sign when a rider's shaking his head, right, fellas?
Well, definitely. Ricky Carmichael frustrated because Chad Reed is making less mistakes. You made a good point, Brian. It's going to be who makes the least amount of mistakes at this race, because a track this fast, this edgy, you're going to make mistakes. It's who makes the least amount.
We're inside 4 laps to go, David Bailey.
Carmichael's running out of time. He's got such a huge gap to make up. It's going to take a major mistake from Chad Reed at this point, or some sort of a miracle from Ricky Carmichael, which we've seen.
Oh, there's the mistake. It's not Reed, it's Carmichael that does it. He's got plenty of time to pick the bike up. Does he have enough to get it started? Is he going to get passed by anyone out there? LaRocco on the number 5 machine is the next man back, but it was 30 seconds. So Carmichael returns to the track, still in second place.
Probably not going to have a rear brake either with all that plastic melting onto the disc. It's on the right side of the wheel, caught up in there. He's not going to give up second place because they've got such a huge gap with the wind. I think he can kiss that goodbye now. Chad Reed has put him away.
He's still got a part of that flag caught in his wheel. Take another look at what happened.
He starts to swap side by side, loses it, hits one of the hay bales, goes down, and then down hard on the asphalt. You can see the banner start to suck up into his rear wheel, and as David was saying, is on the right side. We watch, he loses, swaps sideways, loses the front wheel, back wheel, then over the bales, and down he goes.
You know what's cool, though? Look how long he hung on to that. He hung on till the pavement, going, maybe I can save it, maybe I can save it. He's done it so many times before. The Chad Reed pace, which he started in the first practice session this afternoon, edging Ricky Carmichael for the fastest lap, the fastest heat. He put the pressure on, and Ricky had to answer it, and he just couldn't quite get it done.
I have to ask, how does having that flag, and may I point out that it's a Honda flag stuck in the Suzuki, how does that affect Ricky Carmichael's race right now?
Well, what happens is as we're talking about, it gets into the back brake rotor, and what it does, the plastic melts. What it does, it glues the brake pads. So the brake pads lose their adhesive, so Ricky Carmichael basically has no rear brake, has to use just his front, and he has to be very complacent and just finish the race.
Well, the bad news for Ricky Carmichael is that he's probably not going to win the Daytona Supercross. The good news is he had a fairly substantial championship points lead, and maybe he'll take some consolation from that after this race is over.
Well, we still got to look at how many races Ricky's won this year, and he's not going to win the Daytona Supercross, but you have to understand, when he lost that race in San Diego, he bounced back and beat Chad, went straight to him. So, you know, here we've seen Chad Reed beat, or Ricky Carmichael beat Chad on a technical Supercross track, and now we've seen Chad Reed beat Ricky Carmichael. But you know what, though? This race isn't over. With lappers and with the way people go down, anything still can happen.
Let's give credit where credit is due. Here's your leader, Chad Reed. He is, as they say, the man tonight.
You know, what I think is interesting is you know, when Chad Reed stands on the podium, you know, people are telling me, oh, man, he looks like he's going to cry. He looks beaten. He doesn't look beaten. He just looks mad because he's putting in so much work during the week, as much or more than Ricky Carmichael's into the final lap. So when he doesn't, you know, win the race, and Carmichael does, he's over it, man, and he's finally
about it.
Stayed, you know, just tenacious enough, like he was last year in the outdoor season. Even though Ricky had a perfect season, Chad came back with a whole renewed confidence, going, I think I can do this. And he couldn't do it. This persistence and perseverance, and probably Jeff Spencer in his corner, has helped him so much to be able to put Ricky away on Ricky's turf.
So would you say, David, that Chad is getting it done?
Yeah. Say it again.
Say it one more time.
Whatever you like, he is definitely doing the business out here tonight. Chad Reed on his Yamaha, the defending Daytona Supercross 250 winner, is going to make it 2 in a row. And as he comes around the last few corners, this crowd is going to erupt in a huge celebration. Chad Reed becomes only the 6th rider to win Daytona back-to-back. And he has done it here in front of a huge crowd, and you know how happy this young man is going to be. Chad Reed, the defending Supercross champion, has backed it up with a win at Daytona 2 years in a row.
Major upset.
You said it early in the broadcast, if he could win, it would be. He did, and it is. There is Ricky Carmichael coming to the finish line. It's going to be a 2nd place finish for Carmichael. He was able to recover, get the bike back up, and finish anyway. And now Ricky Carmichael has finished, and there is Chad Reed celebrating already.
Yeah, Ricky Carmichael's a rider, though, that'll give a dog his day. You know, he'll tell Chad Reed, good job, you did you know, you beat me straight up. And Ricky made some mistakes, Chad made some mistakes, but as you said, Brian, it's who made the least amount, and actually who didn't make the biggest ones.
We can say it now, or I can ask the question, was this a must-win situation for Chad Reed?
I definitely think it was a must-win, and you can see, you know, Ricky saying, hey, good job, you know, you did it, but it was a big win for Yamaha, big win for Chad Reed. You know, this was beating Ricky Carmichael in his backyard.
A beautiful moment of sportsmanship that the crowd here at Daytona has appreciated. Chad Reed is going to take a victory lap, and to be honest, we don't care how long it takes him to do it.
Rick, can you describe that feeling? Because I have a hard time putting it into words for people.
Well, you got to understand, you know, he's the king of the hill. When you work so hard, if you can beat Bob Hannes in a sand race, if you can beat a David Bailey in a technical Supercross track, for that moment in time, you are the best in the world. And so what Chad Reed did today is he beat the best outdoor sand rider in the world in a straight-up match. There's no excuses. Ricky Carmichael made more mistakes than Chad Reed, and Chad's going to win. He's doing a big burnout right there, a little Daytona style. And, you can't explain it.
Last year we had him come in the number 22 NASCAR, little bringing the, we're at Daytona, hey, and that's cool.
Chad Reed doing a burnout in a Supercross win. Only at Daytona could something like that happen as Chad Reed exchanges high fives with the crowd along the fences here at the banking, the famous banking of the Daytona International Speedway. If there's any question about this being the world center of racing, well, today it was.
Well, we talk about guys that I think great champions are the guys that get beat and come back. And as Chad Reed has been beat by Ricky, he comes back, and as Ricky's been beat by Chad, they come back. So this night does not determine the championship, and you're not going to see Chad Reed come back and dominate the rest of Supercrosses. I can guarantee you that.
A great night for Chad Reed. We can only imagine what he is about to say. A tough night for Ricky Carmichael on the number 4 Suzuki. Take another look that you haven't seen before.
Novice bike builder.
Here's the deal.
In the ultimate challenge.
Do a great job, short bike.
Build a custom iron horse in 30 days. Build or bust.
I shouldn't have to explain this.
Wednesday night today, only on Speed.
Every race is a new challenge, whatever it takes to win. I am a champion. I choose Suzuki.
Dedication. Try to rewrite the record books. I am a champion. I choose Suzuki.
I want to go as fast as I can. Everything else you can forget about. I am a champion. I choose Suzuki.
I love what I do. I take it serious. I am a champion. I choose Suzuki.
I am a champion.
I choose Suzuki.
I am a champion. I choose Suzuki.
The Subaru Outback. With symmetrical all-wheel drive standard and an available turbocharged boxer engine, it might just be the only vehicle perfect for the snow belt, the sun belt, and your money belt. See your Subaru dealer for a test drive today.
Through March 31st, get financing as low as 1.9% on all 2005 Subaru models.
Johnson and Njai jump. It's controlled by Johnson. 2-on-1 kill. Under a minute and a half. Really?
Something missing from your tournament action? This year, the NCAA tournament's not complete without the Mega March Madness package from DirecTV. Now you can watch up to 37 live tournament games from outside your region. Not missing out on any hoops action. Just another example of how DirecTV is rethinking the way television should be. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS today.
Ain't nobody gonna have no pity on you just because you're blind.
He turned despair into hope. And darkness.
Is that poison worth losing everything?
Into light. Georgia. Open your eyes to the extraordinary world of Ray Charles.
I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby. Yeah.
Ray, now playing on pay-per-view.
Order it with your remote on DirecTV pay-per-view.
The following round. A month after that, he was winning